Yeah, Krellian is, like, truly leveled up. I didn't really... I mean, it's not that I disliked him, it's just that the other villains were more interesting before, but... The fleshly body of God has been recovered. The anima and the animus have all been obtained. All that is left for us to do is change into the animus and become one with the mother persona. That is incorrect. What? What do you mean, Krellian? What did you just say? What are you doing? Krellian, have you gone totally insane? What are you doing to the memory banks? Do not touch them. We cannot survive without them. You were the only ones who could have activated the key. But now that it has been activated, I no longer need you. I am having you all erased. I saw this coming. How dare you! I knew that these guys were going to get destroyed at some point. The only obstacle that kept me from my goals was Cain. He was the one person who had total control of the people and thus was my greatest nemesis. But the only person who could terminate Cain was Cain himself. That's why I created a copy of Cain. Ramsus acted exactly as I predicted, killing Cain. Now there is no one who can stop me. Stop me. And I'm not interested in your power or authority. Did you really think you were acting on your own free will? You are all just parts of the system, created only as weapons of invasion and oppression. You are just terminal interface weapons. We can become God in your... God? Who said you'd be God? What impertinence. We are humans. We were created to be terminal interfaces of God. It is the same for you, who were once humans. Man cannot become God. We can only entrust ourselves to God. Ridiculous. Going against the mother. I have not gone against her. This is the will of the other mother. You think you can eliminate us and still revive God? It can be done. Your genes were scattered in order to keep the world alive after the fall and days of destruction. Those genes live on today within the humans, the anima vessels, and the recipients of their alignment, the animus, and also the persona. By combining these with my nanomachines, humans will become living beings very much the equivalent of you. Actually, they may far surpass you in becoming worthy terminal interfaces for God. So you are no longer of any use to me. Deuce, the physical manifestation of God, only wants results. The means are insignificant to him. So this is my ARC plan, my Project Noah. Brilliant. May all your worries cease. Rest in peace, ancestors of mortal man. Probably pronounced Deus, like Deus Machina, actually. Now it is just you and I, Sophia. Back to our chair. So, like, there's an interesting... I don't really understand. I don't really understand everything going on at the moment. But there's a cool, like, dynamic between the ancient civilization thinking that they were the only ones that could be the weapons or the manifestation of God, and thinking that, like, humanity, they were basically, like, using humanity to get what they wanted, and just saw humanity as a tool to become God. And then Krellian flipped it on him and was like, actually, us the humans are using you, and now we're just gonna turn you off. And you know what I mean? Like, there was a cool, like, they kind of got what was coming to them. They were using humanity just for their their ultimate goal, and then in the end, the ultimate goal used them, and then they never got it. So, like, there was kind of a perfect, they got what was coming to them, karma to that. I was powerless. All I could do was stand by and watch as they took Ellie away from me. I am powerless. I understand more than I thought I would, though, that's for sure. And that's probably because a lot of these scenes are kind of just explaining stuff now. Because there's not as much character dialogue, and there's a lot more just narration. So you can kind of understand it easier. What are you doing there? Oh, it's you. I wasn't able to beat Groff. I didn't stand a chance against him. It was obvious from the start. It was impossible to try to defeat a monster machine like that to begin with. Then Ellie, why was she so dang foolish? I implicitly told her not to come. I told her to run away. She had to have known it was a trap. Yes, you won't be able to defeat him like that. As long as you continue fighting with that kind of an attitude, that is. The reason you lost and that young lady was taken was because of your pride. Weren't you depending far too much on the power of your machine? Not to mention that new id power you're now able to control. What is Groff's source of power? His machine? His technique? His experience? I do not think so. It is his feelings. His heart, his feelings, are dominated by his resentment and his hatred of this world. That hatred is his source of power. Your feelings weren't focused enough to fight off Groff. That is why you could not win. Your feelings must be in the right place. That is strength. I'm not surprised you lost, seeing as you do not understand the true meaning of strength. What a weird concept for a game that's very, like, mechanical and technology and science, and like, it's weird to have a lot of the game based around science, but then also have this side plot of, like, emotions or strength, and you can defeat anything if you're, you know, if you put your mind to it, kind of like. I mean, that's common for video games, but still, it's just kind of funny. I never didn't think of it that way till now, but it's funny how, like, the fantasy concepts, but then also just, like, pure science come together. Wise man. That young lady, the only thing in her heart was her desire to save you all. She set aside her fear and piloted that machine. It was because she had such strong feelings that you were all still alive. That is what I think. Of course you have been defeated. However, that doesn't mean it's over. How do you plan on responding to her feelings? It is now your turn to save her, is it not? Well, what are you going to do, Faye? I don't think I'm ever going to get this image of this necklace floating around out of my head for the rest of my life. They use it in such a great way in this game. Like, it's constantly there, but it started off as just like I wonder what this is, and it's turned into, like, the main symbol of the whole game. I'm going to... In order to save Ellie, we began to search desperately for her whereabouts, and 2 weeks later we found her. Using the data obtained from Raziel and his own nanomachine technology, Krelian had begun the construction of God's Ark, Merkava. Its completion was imminent. To prevent its activation and to rescue Ellie, we headed for Merkava. Barbarone did not just drop a Fortnite joke. You again? Are you girls thinking of going in there too? Don't get any wrong ideas there. We are here to help our commander. Miang and Krelian have been manipulating his emotions for the sole purpose of eliminating the Emperor. We still know nothing about Miang after all this time. It's pretty wild. We simply want to free the commander from those bonds so that he may be saved. It's neither for the sake of the world, nor for the sake of your girlfriend, Elaheim. We have no intentions of fighting on the same side as you. Fine. You have your own battles to fight, and we have ours. Let's leave it at that. But if things get out of hand, you head back. We'll handle it. We'll make you eat those words. You wait and see. Yeah, the elements are a cool, like, wild card. We entered inside of Merkava, and while fighting back units of weapons that self-regenerated through the use of nanomachines, we headed for the central core. And then, once again, Ramsus appeared before us. We don't even get to do Merkava as, like, a dungeon? R.I.P. This is spooky. Okay, we do get to do something. Wanted to bring what's her name back in because we need some. Well, I don't know if we need magic or not, but I would imagine we potentially need magic. All right, Fortnite joke. Prepare yourself. What kind of emote is also a treat at the country fair? Candy floss. I don't get it. The guy on the picture's eating cotton candy. Is that called something else? Is there another name for cotton candy that I'm unaware of? Brits say candy floss instead of cotton candy. I did not know that. This was published in New York. What? That's a stretch. Mach Mari could have used a more effective weapon than smoke bombs. It just seems kind of dim. I'm gonna let you stew on that one. Good luck figuring that out. Never been a fan of cotton candy. I liked cotton candy as a kid, but it's like inedible now as an adult. I've been waiting for you, Faye. Ramses? He's clapping. Faye, if only you hadn't have been born. We're going to settle this now. Stop it, Ramses. What reason is there to continue fighting me? Who are you fighting for? Why do you always have a bone to pick with me? Tell me why. It is all because of you. If only you hadn't come in and destroyed my prospects in life. My life was given to me within a nanoreactor in Krelian's laboratory. To be born as the superior being above all humans. But then... This time your body is young. The previous one got too old. And the name? Karen. But individual names have no meaning to me. So, what brings you here? Is that thing inside the nanoreactor there? The one? Huh? Oh, recognition code 0808191 Ramses. The Emperor has been told it's a prototype for an artificial contact. What's its status? It has entered the so-called first growth stage. From now until the binding, its growth will be several times faster than that of an ordinary human. But its psychological development will be a little difficult to control. It is a replica, so that is to be expected. It is moving. Can it hear us? Yes, it already has a will of its own. Then, I have a better way. Let us dispose of it. We do not need this. We have my child. My child will be 4 this year. Your having a child is significant? Yes. I checked it out. There is no mistake. It's a contact. What's its name? My child's name is Faye. So, you understand what this means. A corresponding antitype is... yes. Probably already born somewhere. The final one. Then, this thing is worthless. Yes, totally useless. Haha, chase after it, boy. A love that's unattainable for you, no matter how hard you try to pursue it. How you gonna be so mean to this random thing in a glass container? Until then. Because of your existence, I was discarded. I was destined to be the representative of God, having the might of the Emperor. I was destined to be the ultimate existence, having the power to exercise absolute control over all. But I lost it all because of you. My mother? How do you know her? Ramses! Commander, please stop this. Commander, if what you say is true, then what is even more of a reason not to fight? You were just used by Krelian and... Silence! You, even you, dare to censor me. I saved you from nearly becoming a test subject and now you turn on me? You are mistaken. We are only thinking of your best interests. Silence. Ultimately, only I can help myself. I am the only one that can correct this. This is the end for you. On guard! 'Cause here I come, Faye. In my really goofy looking gear. Wave number 3, Demiser, HP equal to 1. Excellent. Excellent start. Love that. See if ether actually does any damage. Man, she's pretty strong. Hey, Xenogears. It's kind of annoying that you can do that again. Huh. That's cool. Golden vest. Gah! I sent him right through the wall. What's this? That's a wall, Faye. What is this place? This is where Carr was born, and where his hatred of you was forged. Who's there? It's Mother Brain. What is this? That's Ellie. Wow, Ellie's seen better days. Ellie! But, if I could ask nicely, you're a little crooked. If you could kind of ruin the scene. I would have liked to have been able to commend you for making it here. But your efforts were all in vain. The resurrection of Deus is imminent. Sacrificing this girl will bring about the awakening of God. What are you talking about? Why does Ellie have to be sacrificed? There's no need for you to know. For all of you, it will all end here. Ah! They sure have a lot of robots. Ahem. Adieu, boys. Are we finally fighting Miang? Okay. Problem. We have no fuel, no health, no nothing because of that last fight. So... defense up. ETH attack up also. Every time I attack her, she gets stronger. That's not good. Maybe I'll just charge and try to get my fuel back. Ow. Defense down. Youth attack down. So, can I just chill here for a bit? I need fuel. Problem is, charge just gets you, like, no fuel. 50 fuel, it's like nothing in comparison to what everything costs. But I mean... this is working. And her defense is going down every time she does this. Although it might be at its lowest point already. I wish I could charge my attack level without attacking. Should probably try to do just one attack per cycle. Let's go, Captain. is insane how many different ideas they had for boss fights. Every single thing in this game is just done to the ultimate degree. It's wild. It's like... You tell me that a game has the greatest story of all time, I'm gonna figure that the combat is at least, like, you know, dialed back a bit, but nope. Everything is as crazy as it can be. They put all the effort into everything. So, like, I can heal, but I'm gonna have 0 heal. Do. I have to attack to get my attack level, but then I'm gonna slowly bleed out. I kind of want to try using an ether to see if she still charges, but she probably will. I just go id and hope. Let Faye cook and then die and then try to win afterwards. He just holds his foot on the back of their head at the end of that. So it looks like... I'm gonna try something. I think you get 3 turns in id, and I think charges count. But does that mean if I charge 3 times, I'll actually make fuel I'll actually benefit on fuel? Nah, it only gives like 300. I thought it was given 500. Just get another attack while I can. Yeah, because you could just keep going in and then charging, and you could make a lot of fuel up. I think Faye might actually get one more hit in before he loses id and also dies. ETH attack rises up. Wait, that's different. Yo, subs, thank you for the raid. Appreciate it, man. Hope you had a great stream today. Okay, she changed. She's not doing her normal thing now. Things are happening. Yeah, now she's just gaining power. It's not bad. Nice. My, aren't we powerful? That was a really cool fight. Very unique mechanic that you can actually learn on your first fight and not just get smashed the first time. But then it changes. Why does Satan have 625 out of 569 HP? Then it changes halfway through the fight, so like you have to. Yeah, that was a really good fight. That is a good JRPG boss right there. Heh. Well then, let's start over from the beginning again. You think you can beat me this time? What the? I thought I defeated you. Unless you can decompose her atomic structure, you don't stand much of a chance. Normal attacks are futile against one who has the ability to regenerate using nanomachines. It always goes back to nanomachines. Now, the time has come for the Great Awakening. It is our Xenogears? Dang, what's going on? Huh? Hey, is that our Omni? No, that's not it. Is that our Anima Relics? Is it trying to detach the Anima Relics from the Xenogears? Deus is swallowing up our Anima Relics. Probably could have seen that coming. I kind of told you that it was going to do that. That's what we call a big brain move. It seems the anima relics have fallen into the hands of the enemy. This is the true meaning of the anima relics. To attain their respective animus and return to the persona. The anima relics are really one set of parts that make up Deus, the physical manifestation of God. They regain their original powers of functions by aligning themselves with their destined partner. An Omnigear that has lost its respective anima relic is but a puppet. It becomes a mere vessel or container in which there are no contents. And this girl, too, was destined to become one with God. You see, Elheim is really one of the parts of God as well. What the heck are you talking about? Put simply, you serve to help bring all the parts of God together here for me. You're a bunch of stupid fools. It's as if you're all clowns. Wow, clown does. You believe the legend of how our world and the universe was created, but the Ministry and I fabricated that very myth a long time ago to suit our purposes. That's a lie! How could that be true? I think you'll find that your friends' Omnigears are all dead too. I'm talking about your friends who split up and took a different path than you into this place. They were all parts of God that were disassembled in the past, but once again are all gathered here. Yes, it is indeed the time for the resurrection of God. How many times have they said that? What was it all for? Everything that I have done up until now. Ramsus. Huh. It's just you. Why does he look massive? Is he like up? Is this like a weird camera angle? Why is he like 2 times the size of everyone else? What are you doing here, Car? Yeah, he was like closer to us. What about me? My existence? What was its purpose? There was only one purpose to your existence, to eliminate Emperor Cain. Cain's will had become too much like that of humans. He was too concerned about them. He had forgotten his mission to revive God. That is why you were created. You were only made to remove our main hindrance, Cain. But as the original living being, Cain had absolute power. To make you turn on Cain, it was necessary to focus your mind on a single point. However, being an artificial life form, you were mentally unstable. That is why we used Faye's existence. Resentment. That is the source of your strength. It's so crazy to me that this is the amalgamation of so many scenes that we saw like 45 hours ago. Like that scene where Miang and Ramsus were in bed and Miang like got up and talked to Graf was like 40 hours ago. And that's basically what built up to this. We already knew this, and so did Ramsus, but still, it's like crazy. And you have excelled superbly at fulfilling our expectations of you. But we no longer have any more use of you. Haven't you realized that yet? You're a piece of trash, and being the reject that you are, why don't you just leave? Ha ha ha. What was I born for? What was I living for? A pathetic excuse for life. Why, you aren't even human. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Now, what to do with the lot of you? Well, I can't just kill you all, seeing as you have served me so well. So, as a reward, I'll allow you to be sacrificed too, to be assimilated into Deus along with this girl. Good! Ramsus! I totally saw this coming. The super used trope of like the tool of the bad guy turning on the bad guy. Good, this is how I wanted it, Car. I am fated so as not to be able to kill myself. Even now she's like, I got you. Now all my wishes have come true thanks to you. You gotta feel so bad for Ramsus. No matter what he does, Miang is just like, that's what I meant for you to do. Miang. She is. She's such a cool character. And so is Ramses. Ooh-ah! Hey, sorry we're late. Our Omnigears broke down. Anyway, let's hurry up and save Ellie. Yes, I know. What a weird moment. Suddenly, everyone's fine. Hang in there, Ellie. I'm letting you down now. Oof. Ah! Faye! Now you hang in there. Now you hang in there now. Don't you be dying now. She took my gun? Why did you do that, Ellie? Ellie? What happened to you? How could you? Don't tell me she's been brainwashed. It has nothing to do with brainwashing. What was that? He went from face down on the ground to like, whoop. The majority of my body is comprised of a nanomachine colony, not only for longevity, but also to unify with the mother. So don't be surprised, this much damage can be recovered rather quickly. Unify with the mother? That girl, Elohim, is our mother. Yes, I am the mother of all humans. Ellie? What are you babbling on about? Step out of it, Ellie. You're as dense as usual, but I don't blame you. So be it. I will explain to you all about it. This Deus, the one you call God, is an interplanetary invasion weapon system that was built in ancient times by humans from another planet. It was created as an automatic weapon which could act upon its own will to take control of a targeted planet. But you should have known this much from looking at the Raziel records. Anyway, during a test run, Deus became uncontrollable. It released its power and annihilated a whole planet. The creators of Deus found its immeasurable power to be too much of a threat and hence forcibly shut it down. In order to analyze the cause of the problem, its core was dismantled and placed on an interplanetary emigrant passenger ship to be transported to another planet. Becoming aware of this, the disassembled Deus resisted. It tried to take over the passenger ship that was transporting it. However, as the last line of defense against the escape of Deus, its creators unexpectedly destroyed the whole ship, sending it crashing to this planet. Deus knew that it would not be able to get away from the explosion or the imminent impact, and so it detached its core from the Zohar power reactor. Zohar? Yes, Zohar. It is what drives all the gears on this planet. It is the master generator that transmits its energy to the slave generators in our gears. It is also the source of all the ether power that the inhabitants of this planet utilize. By utilizing the energy displacements caused by actualizing potential future phenomena, this Zohar modifier has the ability to produce infinite amounts of energy. The source of all our ether power? Are you saying all our energy comes from that one power reactor or engine? Yes, but there is more. The core that was detached from Zohar, the biological computer Kadamini, crashed onto this primitive planet. It activated Persona, its life support plant that can generate organic material. Using this, it prepared for itself a genetic-based system for the day when Deus would be resurrected. Thus, the first humans were created from there, Emperor Cain and the elders of the Gazelle Ministry. Are you saying the Emperor and the Gazelle Geezers were people born from Deus? Do you know why the Gazelle Ministry desired the anima relics in your bodies? Well, here's the reason. Before becoming human, I don't think they did actually. I think we want to know, but I don't know if they even care. Before becoming human, the bodies of the Ministry were once part of the organic elements in the core circuit that made up Deus. There were two types of organic elements. The female type were called anima, while the male type were called animus. They were also created with the added ability to become mobile weapons by merging with machinery that was suited for use as terminal interface weapons for Deus. In other words, those Omnigears you were using were one form of such weapons. The Ministry, which were animus, were to become one again with their separated anima at the time of the resurrection of God. But in the war 500 years ago, they all lost their physical bodies. It was then that they decided to extract their own genetic factor from certain individuals of their human descendants who carried the appropriate sets of DNA. Also, each of them could become one with their respected anima again. By the way, Faye's just like bleeding out, dying on the floor while we're talking about all this. Descendants? Then we're all... Yes, you humans are all descendants of Cain and the Gazelle Ministry. They were born from the Persona, gave birth, and propagated. They followed their inbuilt program to someday resurrect the heavily damaged Deus. All the people in the world were created solely to resurrect Deus? Yes, but it wasn't just to restore its old body. More than half of Deus is constructed of biological parts. Do you remember those mutated humans? Those are all people who were destined to become replacement parts for Deus. We humans are parts for God. Yes, almost all the people are destined to become parts for Deus. But you people gathered here are all different. You could say you escaped through destiny by existing through multiple generations. In actuality, there wasn't enough parts for Deus, but Krelian compensated for what was lacking. The reduction in the number of parts was due to humans living through multiple generations. But that deficiency in the human factor was made up for by the nanomachines created by Krelian. Not only that, but his nanomachines added additional functions. Deus has thus evolved into the perfect weapon. Ellie, what has happened? Why do you know all that? I am Miang, the Keeper of Time, the representative of our god Deus. I was born to guide the people toward the path of the resurrection of Deus. That's ridiculous. Miang was just... You're limited in your ability to understand. Miang's factor exists within all women. The one who transcends the generations, the caretaker of humans. When the previous one dies, somewhere another Miang is awakened. It is programmed into all women's DNA to be that way. Who inherits the duty is just a matter of probability, Faye. That Miang over there and I are the same existence. We are all parts of Deus, all caretakers of humans. I don't think it's a probability thing, because what would be the chances of every woman on the planet? You were the one that was picked. Let us end this discussion now. Deus has awakened. I am one of the parts that composes Deus, hence I must become one with it. Ellie, why did it have to be you? If Miang is part for Deus, why did it not happen earlier? It's still not enough for her just to have awakened. Although she may be Miang, she still isn't the true Miang. The true Miang? Let's go, Krelian. All that is left to do is to vanquish this planet's civilization and return to how it was. Then I can complete my unification with the final fragment of Deus, the Zohar modifier. The power reactor that fell upon this planet and became our genesis, and now our apocalypse. The eradication of civilization? That's a sweet heavy metal band album name. What is the purpose of doing that? Who knows? The creations of God will someday be a hindrance. That is why they must be eliminated. I am just programmed to act in this way. So did Miang, like, tell Krellian all of this a long time ago, and he's just been going with it? Like, I'm confused as to why Krellian's even okay with this. Come. It is time for the awakening of the true mother. And I still don't understand why it had to be Ellie. But I don't think we're supposed to know yet. Please, wait, Ellie! Farewell, Faye. May you have a peaceful awakening. Ellie! Wait, Faye! Do you not realize this? Do not release the system. Satan, wait! We're only endangering ourselves. Let's get out of here for now. Didn't Faye get shot? Like, what? What happened to him getting shot? Did you just take it? Just take it like a man? Just a flesh wound. Holy cow, I guess we have to stop here. It's 1 o'clock. What a place to stop, though. I guess it seems like they got out, so there's probably going to be like a whole slow discussion after this, so I think this actually is a good stopping place. I mean, for what it's worth, there's really no good stopping places, but yeah, I think they're about to like get together and talk about what happened, so probably a good stopping place. So can I just say, I don't know why this thought came to mind, but can I just say that, like, I can see why people say that this game releasing in 2024 would be like a giant yikes. But if I'm being honest, in my personal opinion, I think that this game veers way too far into like just completely fantastical concepts that there's no shot I could ever be offended by it. You know what I mean? And I know not the whole world is the same way. But you're telling me that every woman on the planet has the DNA of an alien life form, an alien created super weapon. And every time Miang dies, Miang takes control of another woman on the planet. And yet we're gonna like take that seriously as like a... We're gonna take anything in this game seriously as like an actual discussion point on real politics or religion. You know what I mean? Like, for me, when a game goes that fantastical with its concepts, there's no shot that I'm seeing the gears on the cross and thinking to myself, like, wow, that's so anti-religion. You know what I mean? Like, we're way into the art side. You know, we are way past any kind of political commentary and into just complete art and like just crazy, you know what I mean? But I understand. Not everyone looks at it that way. Some people are going to look at like the beginning of the game and see parallels and get upset. But for me personally, you get this far into the game and we're talking about like every human being on the planet being a piece of a giant alien weapon, and I'm like, okay, you know, they cooked. Right? But you're right, like, media tends to look at, like, surface level. And again, like, that scene of all the robots being on the crosses, out of context, would go crazy on Reddit, you know? So, like, I get it. But, yeah, just saying personally for myself, watching that scene, like, I'm so far past any kind of commentary on real life and more into, like, just complete fantasy at this point. Now, that doesn't mean that a game that's fantasy can't also have dialogue that relates to real life, like they all do. That's what makes media fun to explore, is the fact that it has parallels to real life. But in terms of being offended, like, I don't see it. But anyways, so wow, that was crazy. So I'm still really interested in Miang and Krelian's relationship. And I don't know if that's ever going to be explained or if it was already explained. But I'm really curious to see what that's about. Miang is just like the coolest freaking character of all time. Wow. Like, Krelian had to cook, okay? Krelian, I didn't like at the start, and then at this point, I feel like he's been built as a really good villain. But Miang was interesting from the moment I met her. From the very first scene, I was like, who's this Miang chick? She seems really interesting. And then right after that was the scene with her and Ramses, and I was like, wow, I can't wait to see what happens with this. And then 40 hours later, she's still really interesting, and we're still learning new things about her. 59, 59, 59. 60 hours right on the dot. We're still learning more about her. And still, like, some of the concepts that we heard about at the very beginning of the game are still relevant now. It's not... A lot of the stuff that's happening, like, the stuff at the beginning of the game isn't relevant, but with the characters, it is. Like, wow, it's just crazy cool. And then the twist, I was not expecting the twist. When her hair turned blue, I thought that was Miang the whole time, and Ramses killed Ellie. I think that's probably what everyone thought at first. That's probably the obvious thing. I love that it is a twist, but it's a twist on a twist. It's a twist that you don't even understand until it's explained to you. It's like, you think you know the twist, and then it ends up not being that. It subverts your expectations. It's brilliant. Because I thought for sure, when her hair turned blue, I was like, oh, that was Miang the whole time, and she was setting us up, and she was controlling Ellie so that Ramses would kill Ellie, and, you know, but nope, wasn't that at all. So that was really cool. Really all these scenes were amazing, like, yeah, and then, of course, this all gives more context to the very first cutscene of the game. We now know what that ship was. It was the original passenger ship that had Deus on board. It crashed and Miang was born, and that was her on the beach. So, you know, that gives that all context, which is cool. Yet another, like, really memorable thing, having an intro cutscene that isn't explained until 60 hours in. This game is the most ambitious project of all time, I'm convinced. I am beyond convinced that this is the most ambitious project ever. And if all of the game developers of the planet all came together to finish this project back when it was started, it could have been the greatest game of all time. I think that because it was so ambitious, that was kind of its downfall. Like, it could have never been as good as they wanted it to be. But man, if we could go back in time and give them 2 extra years and double the budget, could you imagine? Could you imagine what this game could have been? It's everything. It's the combat, it's the music, it's the story, it's the concepts, it's the... just everything. The gameplay, the different gameplay modes they had, the world map, the mechanics of the fights, the gears, the... every little thing. The plot twists and the themes. It hits everything. It hits everything. Everything you could ever imagine, it's in this game somewhere. I think what really stood out to me today, too, was the bosses. I was really afraid when we first got the Disc 2 and we fought, like, the first 2 bosses. I was like, wow, this is going to be the rest of the game. Like, I'm excited to see the rest of the story, but the combat's toast. Like, we're just going to be... we're not going to have any chance to farm, so all the bosses are just going to be, like, really simple to make sure that we don't get soft-locked, you know? But then we got a couple dungeons that were actually, like, okay dungeons. Didn't have many enemies, but they had, like, puzzles and stuff to do. And then today we had, like, 3 back-to-back really interesting, gimmicky bosses that were, like, well-made, well-designed, well-thought-out, you know? So that really shocked me. I was not expecting that. I expected the rest of the game to just be, like, meh with the combat, you know? At this point, I figured it was just, you know what? We got to tell the story, so just give them some bosses and... But no, those were spectacular, especially Miang. That Miang boss fight was my favorite in the game so far, I think. Just the way that it started off with a gimmick that you could actually pick up and understand and get through the fight without having to just reset immediately, but then swapped it on you halfway through and you had to change up your strat. And the fact that you fought a boss that put you at 1 health multiple times just before that, so you're already really low on fuel. And so the stakes are already, like, crazy right when the fight starts, and if you lose, you have to fight that fight again, so it feels like you really don't want to lose. Yeah, that was great. That was awesome. It's not often that you can feel that kind of high stakes in a JRPG, because usually it's just save point right before the boss, you fight the boss, you lose, you're right there where you were. But when you have multiple bosses on top of each other and big cutscenes, you know, then it starts to feel... it kind of gives you that Xenosaga feel of, like, I don't want to lose this fight because I don't want to watch that cutscene and do the first two phases again kind of thing. So, yeah, that was awesome. Actually, that fight gives me a lot of Xenosaga vibes. The big cutscene, the multiple phases. It wasn't really multiple phases. It was more of 2 separate bosses, but you know what I mean. Multiple fights, and then, like, the mechanics changing throughout the fight, and you having to adapt, and having the big stakes of not wanting to die and have to do it all over. So, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people have a personal connection to this game, and a lot of people wanted me to play it because they wanted to see, you know, how I would connect with it. But I'd like to think that a lot of people have been asking me to Let's Play this because they understand my goal with the Let's Plays, with the JRPG Let's Plays. You know, the whole idea of this series is really 2 things. One, to have a series that we can all come together and enjoy together and do only a few episodes every week so that everyone can be involved and not get behind, and, you know, something that we can all come together and do together. That's like number one. But number two is to kind of time capsule these JRPGs, kind of similar to Fantathon, in a way that we can appreciate them and appreciate the whole genre, right? And I think that people saw that and said, if you want to appreciate JRPGs, you have to play Xenogears. You know? I think that Xenogears is a paramount milestone in JRPGs. And if you're going to have a series that appreciates JRPGs in their entirety, you have to play Xenogears. You know? And I think a lot of people saw that. They see Xenogears as one of those pillars. Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, Xenogears, you know? And I haven't finished it yet, but by the end of it, there's a good chance that I put it on that pillar. There's a good chance that for the very, like, at the very least, I think that you need to play this game to appreciate the history of JRPGs. I think this is a milestone in the history of JRPGs. Like, there were RPGs before this, and there were RPGs after this. You know, this was a moment in time. The fact that this was created, when it was created, I think this game is as important as any other RPG, even though it wasn't as popular. It was popular, but obviously not as popular as some of the other Square Enix RPGs, but I think it belongs there, man. I really do. If nothing else, for the ambition and the scope and showing what RPGs could be. It's weird to me that if I had played this as a kid, I probably would have thought, you know, yeah, they kind of dropped the ball a bit with this. Like, they weren't able to finish it. But this is what RPGs are going to be like in the future. In the future, we're going to have games that are this comprehensive, this ambitious, have this many mechanics going on. You know what I mean? And then that never happened. RPGs only ever got simpler, you know? RPGs only ever got simpler in that they focused on what people wanted to see and trimmed the fat, instead of trying to get more and more ambitious like this game. They became more of a figure out what works and stick to it. They became more of a do what sells, do what people, you know, is going to sell a lot of copies, do what's economically viable, do what we can do in a year and still release it and still make our money, kind of thing. The game industry really changed. I think we all know that. But this takes me back to a time where people truly wanted to make the greatest RPGs of all time. Nowadays, people don't want to make the greatest RPG of all time. They want to make the most successful one, which is fair. The game industry has changed. They need to be successful to stay afloat. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry now. It's not like it was. Not every game can be a passion project. The big companies have to make money to survive and continue to make games and continue to support how big the gaming industry has become. But man, this game really does just take me back to a time where people were just trying to make the best video games. Takes you back to the time of Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and Final Fantasy, and, you know, like, they were truly trying to make a great product. And if it sold well, if it was great, it would sell well. But it was about being great first. Nowadays, of course, it's about making money first and being great second. And that's not even like me being facetious. Like, that's literally, if you like look at like development interviews and people that have quit AAA companies, they genuinely say that it's about the ability to make money first, and then it's about being good enough to where it doesn't get bad publicity so that it doesn't make money kind of thing. There is no, like, let's try to make a 10 out of 10 game that reviews well moniker in the video game industry anymore, in general. Sometimes you get a game like Final Fantasy VII Remake, where it's very obvious that they were trying to make a game that put them on the map as, like it wasn't necessarily about making money, it was about being the greatest so that people would buy more of their games, you know? They genuinely tried to make the remake great so that they could keep their fans happy, not necessarily print money. That's why the remake doesn't have DLC and doesn't have, or has one DLC, it doesn't have microtransactions, it doesn't have yada yada. It was much more about making a great game. But I don't think we'll ever return to a time like this, where it was really about taking your passion project and making it the greatest you could make it, and leaving a legacy. I truly feel like the creators of this game wanted to leave a legacy. And I mean, they got fired or let go or whatever right after this game, so it's not like, you know, they could truly release this and become millionaires. Like, they were just making a good game. They were cementing their legacy. It's crazy. Well, that'll be it for Xenogears today. What a wild day it was. I have nothing but bliss today, honestly. Story all coming together. Combat was great. Everything was great. Sure, we still have a little bit of Disc 2 yikes with having to sit in a chair and listen to them talk instead of actually being in the fields, having the characters talk for some of the bigger scenes. But mostly, a lot of the scenes that were sitting in chairs were scenes that I wasn't necessarily, like, super sad that we missed out on. The first couple of scenes in Disc 2, I felt real bad. All of Bart's story being flown over, all of Billy's story being flown over, like, all that really sucked. But this time, it wasn't as bad. Sure, I would have liked to see those scenes, but having them be told through the chair dialogue didn't make me feel, like, super duper sad. It was just like, okay, moving on, you know. And the rest of it was just incredible. So this game continues to absolutely boggle my mind. Cannot wait to play it again next week. We got to say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Let's play Xenogears. I look forward to all your opinions on what we saw today. See you in the next episodes. Peace.